BBC Sussex, and a fascinating story which you might have come across if you have seen the Argus this morning, concerns that the Brighton Half Marathon course has been roughly 500 feet short for the last 3 years. Now, organisers have confirmed that they have been contacted by UK Athletics about the claims. They are investigating them fully, and it's all to do with a course change back in 2013. Now, Stephen Cousins is a member of the Worthing District Harriers Running Club and has had his concerns. Hello, Stephen.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
That's all right.
So, what alerted you to what might have happened then?
Well, I've been running the Brighton Half Marathon for a good 4 or 5 years now, on and off. And certainly in 2012, everybody knew because the course was very, very long. Since then, it was right in 2013 because, everyone wears these GPS watches these days. Everybody has some idea of how far they've run and how long it's taken them to run that distance. Now, in general, those GPS watches, they're fairly accurate. They're not absolutely accurate. You wouldn't use them to measure a course for UK athletics, but they give you a pretty decent idea of how far you've run. And then on these websites called Strava or Garmin Connect, you can look at a map of how far you've run, exactly where you've run. It gives you a red line or a coloured line of the distance and the route that you've run. Now, I can look back on all the Brighton Half Marathons that I've run, and I can see exactly where I started, exactly where I turned around, and the route that I took. And it's clear that 2012 was ridiculously long. Everybody knows that. 2013, 2014, look on my Strava data records to be pretty much accurate. The other thing I need to mention is most runners this year and for the past 3 years will have seen on their watch pretty much 13.1 miles, which is a half marathon. But what you have to remember is when you're running a half marathon, you are running in and out and roundabout and over bends and round corners, all sorts of things that actually make your run longer than a half marathon. So really, when you run a half marathon, you should have run more than a half marathon.
Right, I sort of get you. I suppose the real worry of this, Stephen, is that if it's officially deemed as being too short, then anybody who's done a record at the Brighton Half, that's not counted then.
Well, listen, I love the Brighton Half Marathon. I've got no axe to grind against Vitality, against Sussex Beacon, who do wonderful work. But yes, Brighton Half Marathon is a big marathon. There are lots of people that run it, and there are lots of good club runners who are going for serious times. And your fun runners are going, they're looking and saying, well, I want to cut under 2 hours. I want to cut under an hour and a half for a half marathon. These are, people who, it's okay, it's a bit of fun for them, but they still want to get a good time. Now, okay, 146 metres, 500 feet, it's not the end of the world to a lot of people. And you could argue that it's neither here nor there, but for some people it does matter. And certainly for UK athletics, for which Brighton Half Marathon is one of the biggest marathons in the UK, it does matter. And, however much we want to raise money for Sussex Beacon and we want the Brighton Half Marathon to be a successful event, they do need to adhere to the rules in order to be seen as a credible marathon, a credible half marathon.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they are taking it seriously. Brighton Half Marathon have told us that they have been contacted by UK Athletics as a result of these concerns, and they take the matter very seriously. We're working with UK Athletics to investigate the concerns.
Before we go slating them, they have released a statement, and that's all. And they do need the chance to respond. They do need the opportunity to say, well, look, this is a situation, this is the situation from our perspective. They haven't done that yet. They haven't had the chance to do that. So, I'm like you. I'm a reporter. I've just said what I've seen, and I'm not slating them in any way. But it certainly appears that the past 3 years, there's question marks about how long the course is.
Okay, well, that sounds very balanced, Stephen, and I don't think any of us have any interest in talking down some of these great events, but we want to get them right, and obviously we'll be giving the Brighton Half Marathon Vitality team the opportunity to come onto the radio station as soon as they can do. So 17 minutes to 8 here at BBC Sussex.